What's going on, everybody? Mr. Bitcoin Maxi. We're all Bitcoin Maxi. So before we start off this video, I want to thank everybody that has subscribed. I am, wow, very humbled, growing so fast, faster than I expected. 850 subs, it's been 4 days, crazy. So thank you all so much, growing a community of Bitcoin Maxi. So today, I want to give you guys a personal story of mine about how I went from homeless to join the military to investing into Bitcoin. So growing up, I'm gonna be raw and real in this video. Growing up, it was hard. I grew up in a poor family when I, first was born and growing up a little bit. Then my mom, she got into tech and she was working for a tech company. Started doing pretty good. And then she got into real estate and she was doing even better. And so my real dad, when I was younger, he took off. And my mom, she met my stepdad and they basically had a family. And I remember growing up, I had this mindset, like investing mindset, because when I was younger, I used to like collecting those Pokemon cards, like the OG Pokemon cards. So yeah, I had like a mindset since I was younger of investing. And I also used to like those, those like toy soldiers back when you buy things for like $1. They were about $1. It was like those toy soldiers. They were green and they come in like a bag. So it was Pokemon cards that I liked, video games, and yeah, Pokemon cards. So anyways, growing up, I grew up with my mom, and I remember I used to get in trouble all the time for just dumb stuff. I remember one time I got in trouble and I had to go to grandma's as punishment. And then me and my grandma, we started bonding really well, My grandfather passed away. And then shortly after, my grandmother passed away, and she was very close to me. She was very, very close to me, She was like a mother figure to me. She was like my mom, pretty much. And so after that, I moved back, unfortunately, with my mom. And yeah, I remember I used to stay in my room all the time. I used to buy like military movies and stuff when I wasn't working. And I remember I used to just hide in my room, watch military movies, because back at the time I only had it was like a VHS, with like an old Zenith TV, ones that had like the knob and you turn it. So that's all I did. Just stayed in my room when I wasn't working. And then I remember I got in trouble. My mom, that's why I never went out of my room, because my mom, she'd just, I don't know, take her anger out on me or something. And then she would basically kick me out all the time. It was like a repeated cycle. So started sleeping in parks, like down the street from us. We had like this park, and I used to sleep there all the time. And I remember one time I woke up and like the sprinklers were going off, and it was like I woke up and I was like soaking wet. Thankfully though, it was in the summertime, so it felt good. But it still kind of sucks that you're sleeping in a park. But we all have our different stories of, we all go through different things. And so after that, I was like, you know what? I'm done working this job. I'm done going to college, because I was going to college at the time, taking classes. I was like, I'm done. I'm joining the military. And when I went to the military, boot camp was cake, because my family, it was rough. So the military and boot camp, it was cake for me. And so I was used to it. It was like growing up, my mom and my stepdad, it was basically like, it was cake when I tell you. But anyways, so we're in the military, and the one thing about the military that I appreciated, besides a lot of different things, but the main focus on this is the finances. Because in school, they don't teach you finances, but in the military, they teach you finances. A lot of finance classes. And so I was one of those soldiers that would always be living paycheck to paycheck. When I first went in and going out all the time, spending my money on beer, drinks, going to the clubs all the time, and, having an addiction to sleeping with a bunch of women. That was my issue a lot. Even when I was younger, you know, I had an issue of sleeping around with a ton of women. And you know, there's a lot of guys out there. It's not a dating channel, but there's a lot of guys out there that be like, hey, that's not a bad thing. It's not, but it is at the same time, because you're spending a lot of money doing it. You know, you're spending your money, even if the person's spending their money on you, it's like it still requires some type of, you know, investment in a way. And so that's where a lot of my money was going to. Just going out, having fun, sleeping, a bunch of women. My friends always wanted to go out and drink, did that, partying. And so, yeah, I started taking my finances and I was like, look, I'm done living paycheck to paycheck, living like a toxic life like this. I'm going to start taking my finances serious, and I'm going to start being more disciplined about my life. And I'm going to understand that a lot of things that I do aren't necessarily healthy, and I need to start doing healthier things. And understanding why I do things was important, you know, like spending money all the time. You know, sometimes we spend money to make ourselves feel better about things that we have been through in our past. And that's something that I had to learn, you know, and learning about yourself really will help you to understand yourself, but it will also help you when it goes to investing, you know, because sometimes we really don't know that investing, you know, when we're spending our money, sometimes we're trying to fill a void in our life, and it could be a reason. I'm not saying you watching this, but I'm saying it's common, you know, with me it was. And so, yeah. And so I started taking my finances serious, and I was like, look, I need to see where my money's going. I need to see, you know, understand why I'm spending my money like I'm doing, going out all the time, drinking, partying. Yeah, it's fun. But for me personally, I was trying to fill a void, right? And so once I understood that, I was like, okay, got a hold of my finances. And then I was like, you know what? I'm tired of saving cash because everything's getting more expensive. So finally, when I got to the place where I was like, okay, I'm stable, I'm in the military, I'm stable, you know, I'm not doing the stupid stuff anymore of going out, blowing my money and doing all the stupid stuff, right? I finally had to learn, you know? And so life is a learning lesson. So I was going through my learning lessons. And so I was like, you know, instead of stacking cash, I'm going to start looking into investments. And then I'd seen the headaches from real estate. You know, a lot of the times that we hear online that real estate is the best thing that you can put your money into, or gold and silver. And, you know, to me, I looked at the prices and I was like, it's not something that I was interested in, you know? I like tech. That's just me. And once I read the Bitcoin white paper, you know, I studied hours and hours and hours and hours on how Bitcoin worked. And then I started using Bitcoin. I started buying it. And then I sent it one time from one wallet to another, and it was quick. I was like, wow, this takes the headache away from going through a bank. Because you know how if you deposit a check, sometimes the bank takes a while to release your funds, for example, or sometimes you have a daily limit on your when you're opening. Like when you're at the ATM, right? Sometimes they have like $800 limit, $1,000 limit. But with Bitcoin, I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know, it cuts the hassle of all that. And then it was just a game changer for me. So then that's when I was like, okay, I started an investment plan, you know, a simple investment plan, which I have another video for that. And that's what started my investment plan. So yeah, I want to come on and give you guys this quick little personal journey of mine, how I went from homeless to the military. You guys get to know about me a little bit more. And like I said, I appreciate everybody that subscribed. You guys have no idea. And the more you guys subscribe and the more you guys engage with the platform, the more we can build this community of Bitcoin maxis. And we can get people as well that are new to investing. Even if you're new to investing into Bitcoin, the more we grow this channel and the more we grow Bitcoin maxis, the maxi crew, we can get more people that want to know more about Bitcoin into the tribe. So yeah, anyways, it's getting dark. I will be coming out with another video tomorrow. Again, thank you all for watching. You've made it this far, and see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Peace.